Well, we're seeing now a replay of the Rio final from last season. Jack Freestone up against John Florence, and this should be a good fight. Jack Freestone's going to really be tested here. He's had some good scores throughout, but no one's come close to matching the form of John Florence so far. And Jack's going to give John first roll the dice here, and Florence starts breaking, pulls it into the barrel. Can he punch through the curtain? You know he can. Now out onto that open wall, cutting back. Well, Florence saw something in this ride that Freestone didn't, obviously. Masterful tube riding skills on show as he just bangs away right over that dry inside. Will the trend continue? The surfer taking the first wave of a heat today has gone on to win each exchange.
Deciding not to. John draws first blood, dragging both hands there, getting himself nice and deep, and then has to bust out through that section, but just came out with so much speed. Probably one of the best tube riders in the world at the moment. And that is exactly why. Just milking this one all the way through the inside. And as you said, Ronnie, saw something in this wave that Jack didn't, and he's going to make Jack pay for it, that's for sure. Look at the positioning, look at the two arms dragging. Now he lets go to get himself through that section. There's such good read on the wave. I think he's got a relationship with this brake that not many people do have. You can see him using both hands, sliding into it. Straight off the takeoff, just holding his rail. Now he drives through that section. Makes sure he builds up enough speed because it shuts down on him. And you need that to come flying through the other side, which he does with ease.
There was a good chance Geordie was going to take that one out if he had the best waves the way he was surfing. Here we go. Freestone trying to answer back now. Solid first turn, a lot of spray off the rail. This thing's starting to flatten out. His pace is a little sleepy at this stage, and he's going to kick out. Nothing to work with on the inside. Advantage John on the open exchange. And Florence up once again. Oh my goodness. A huge frontside carve, top to bottom, and still has work to do here on the inside. Already on his way to potentially his best score so far in this heat. And he just slaps the oncoming section right before the rocks there. Looks like he's okay. About to fall on the judges' scale.
Oh my gosh, have a look at that turn there. There's not many people on the planet can do that. That is for sure. That was just insane speed drive through that maneuver with the body position that it was in, and then finished off nicely. But then that section, you can see how he fell below sea level right there, Ronnie, and just pretty much got smashed straight into it. This turn right here is just next level stuff from John Florence. And then milks it all the way through, knows he's on his way to a massive score. But all the points are going to come from this maneuver right here. You can see how he just extends the body, but just keeps that board so engaged with the water, and then drives off that back foot. Not many people can do that, Ronnie.
Can you pass me that box of tissues?
Yeah.
Pots, I'm about to cry.
Yep.
That was so beautiful.
That was insane.
Unbelievable.
That's why he's going to be tough to beat. If he does stuff like this day in and day out, I mean, there's not many people can do that.
That wasn't in. That was fast forward that turn. That was just the speed that John carried through that move.
That was perfect technique, perfect positioning. The body, everything was in the right place. And then finished off with a bang and paid for it though, didn't he? That was.
There's a few points in this last turn as well.
Yeah, I mean, look at the extension he gets. He literally throws the board out and then pulls it back underneath him, using that white water as a bit of resistance. And then he opens his eyes and sort of thinks, uh-oh, this is going to hurt. Risk versus reward. And that was
wow.
That was dangerous right there. That was absolutely dangerous.
And he's got to really shake things up when he gets to his feet, Jack. He's got to look a little more aggressive. Here he goes now. A smaller wave, it might allow him to get a little bit more radical. Just can't really bring that first turn around. He's committed to this ride though. He needs to get himself, you think, into the 7-point range to have a shot, and he doesn't complete that last move. Getting himself regathered after a pretty heavy wipeout.
Yeah, nice opening maneuver here for Jack, but just not enough pizzazz, you know. I think that wall needed to stand up a bit more vertical. John's finding those waves, like I said, coming from behind. That was a nice finishing maneuver there from Jack, but just didn't quite right.
Now he's got a beard. That seems to be helping him out, and he is going to be making a big charge up the ratings as we see Florence up once again. And he goes to that full rail turn one more time. It's a carve, but it's a high-risk maneuver. And he's going to try and finish with something big on the inside here. Again, goes to the layback, drifts the tail for a moment and hangs on for the completion. And out behind him, Jack Freestone getting barreled. Well, let's see how Jack finishes this one off. Throws a bit of a layback of his own, but Jack not dealing with the bumps out there on the open face as well as Florence at this point in time.
Let's have a look at this first turn, Ronnie. Takes off. This is almost under the lip right here. Look at that thing. Rotation of the body. Drove out of that turn, so it was a little bit of a different approach. And then finished off nicely. Now, in the back of his mind, he's gone, okay, well, that reef's there, but we've heard what Ross said. They're not thinking about that. He's thinking about the maneuver at hand, but this turn right here is just absolutely perfect. Critical section of the wave, lays into it, the body position as he drives down the face of the wave. Look at that. Just to keep that balance, keep that weight over the front foot, driving out of the turn. There's a lot going on right there, and that was a critical maneuver.
Pushing so hard that his board's in danger of actually disengaging. And you can see the adjustment is made, but he adjusts the move with style. So it's not like you actually notice the adjustment.
Oh, absolutely. You know, he's just tweaking it, and he's performing how he wants to. I love that.
Well, here goes Jack. Might be his last effort here in 2017 at Margaret River Main Break. Surfed very well. Nice, smooth, hacky turn there. But doesn't ever bother with the finish. No need to risk himself with only a minute and a half to go.
If I was on the panel, I would have. Because I haven't seen anything like that.
Amazing surfing. Florence on his way to the final. Let's recap what has unfolded in semi-final number 1. Well, Jack Freestone only managing a heat score total of 10.57. John Florence, on the other hand, he put together a two-wave total of 19.27. He'll return to the beach, get that elbow checked out, and get set for the final. He'll be taking on either Felipe Toledo or Chloe Andino. They're coming up next in semi-final 2.